ever have that feeling where the more successful your business gets, the less free you actually are? It's this weird, backward thing that happens to so many entrepreneurs. You start a business to be your own boss, and you end up building yourself this beautiful golden cage. Well, today, we're going to figure out exactly why that happens and, more importantly, how to get out of it, all based on the fantastic work of Dan Martell.
Yeah, this is a question that probably hits a little too close to home for a lot of you listening. I mean, your company's growing, things are looking up on paper, but so are your stress levels. Your calendar is just a wall-to-wall nightmare. You're constantly putting out fires, and that dream you had of freedom, it feels like a lifetime ago. And look, this is not just some vague feeling. Let me tell you about a founder named Stuart. He built this incredible software company. From the outside, he was killing it. But after just a brutal stretch of nonstop 14-hour days, he takes his family to Disneyland and has a massive panic attack. Right there. His success had literally made him sick, trapping him in this awful cycle of anxiety.
Stuart's story is a tough one, but honestly, it's not unique. So many founders walk this exact path that there's a name for it, the success to stress pipeline. It's that journey that takes you from high fives and hitting goals straight into burnout and misery. So let's kind of pull back the curtain and see how this actually works. Okay, so this brings us to a really critical idea called the pain line. Think of it like this invisible wall you slam into. It's the point where every new client, every new hire, every tiny bit of growth just adds more weight, more stress. The old just hustle harder playbook, it completely falls apart. You realize that growing more means signing up for even more pain, and who in their right mind wants to do that? So when you hit this pain line, you tend to react in one of three ways, usually without even realizing it. First, you sell. You just get so desperate you sell the business, a lot of times on terrible terms, just to get out. Or two, you sabotage it. You start making weird, bad decisions that actually shrink the company back down to a size where the pain is manageable. And last, you stall. You just decide, that's it, we're not growing anymore. But look, in today's world, a business that isn't growing is slowly dying. But what if hitting that pain line isn't the end of the road? What if it's actually a signal that you need to completely change your game plan? This is where we get to the core solution, the escape hatch from the cage. It's a really powerful shift in thinking called the Buyback Principle. We're all told the same story, right? Entrepreneurship is all about the grind. It's about outworking everybody else. That whole get stuff done culture is everywhere. But that's not the real story. The problem is not the hard work. It's that you're spending all your time and your best energy on the wrong kind of work. You're busy, for sure, but you're not actually being effective. You're just being really efficient at all the tasks that are secretly holding you and your business back, just draining you and making you feel even more trapped. And this right here, this is the whole thing. It's a complete 180 on how you should think about hiring. Stop thinking about bringing people on just to do more. Instead, you need to start hiring people specifically to do the things that you shouldn't be doing. The number one goal of every new hire should be to buy back your own time, so you can put it where it really matters. Okay, cool. So that's the big idea. But how do you actually do it? Martell doesn't just give you a concept, he gives you a super simple, repeatable system to make it happen. It's a 3-step loop. And I love this because it shows you the choice you have. When you hit that moment of pain, you can either keep running straight ahead into more pain, more burnout, or you can choose to enter this green loop. This is a cycle that's designed to systematically get you off that hamster wheel and onto a path where you can grow without wanting to pull your hair out. And the loop itself, it's incredibly simple. First, you audit. You take a really honest look at your calendar and you figure out what tasks are low value and are just sucking the life out of you. Second, you transfer. You get those tasks off your plate and give them to someone else. And third, you fill. You strategically fill up that new free time with the high-impact stuff that actually gets you excited and moves the needle for the business. Then you just repeat. You're constantly upgrading how you spend your time. All right, so for that first step, the audit, you need a tool. You can't just go by gut feeling to figure out what's a waste of your time. You need a way to actually diagnose where your hours are going and see your work clearly. And that tool is the drip matrix. It's a simple 4-quadrant grid that helps you sort every single thing you do. So look at the vertical axis. That's about how much money a task brings in. Now look at the horizontal axis. This one's all about your energy. Does doing this task light you up, or does it make you want to take a nap? So let's break down this acronym DRIP.
D is for delegation. These are your low-money, energy-draining tasks. We're talking admin, scheduling, booking travel, the stuff you just have to get rid of. R is for replacement. These are high-money tasks that still drain you. Maybe it's sales calls that you've just grown to hate. You need a plan to replace yourself in these roles. I is for investment. These are low-money things that actually light you up, like learning a new skill or even just hobbies. Super important for you long-term. And finally, P is for production. This is the promised land. High money, high energy work. This is your zone of genius. So the entire goal of this whole system, using this matrix, is to systematically pull your time out of that bottom left delegation quadrant, the stuff that costs you energy for little financial return, and pour it into the top right, your production quadrant. This is where you don't just add value, you create massive exponential value, not just for the business, but for your own life. And here's the thing you absolutely have to get. This isn't some luxury you earn after you get rich. This is how you get rich. I mean, think about someone like Oprah. Do you think she spends her days on tasks that drain her? No way. She built an empire by focusing her time on the things that only she can do, her zone of genius. That's the cause of her success, not the result of it.
Okay, let's bring this all home. As we've seen, getting out of the entrepreneur's trap isn't about working less. It's about working right. It's about being absolutely ruthless and strategic with your two most valuable resources, your time and your energy. So the next time you feel that burnout, that dread, that feeling of being totally trapped, don't look at it as a personal failure. See it for what it really is. It's a signal. It's your business telling you, hey, it's time to start the buyback loop. It's time to audit, transfer, and fill your days with the work you were actually meant to be doing. And that really just leaves us with one last powerful question. And for a second, just forget about whether it feels possible. Just imagine. If you could just snap your fingers and buy back 10 hours of that draining, low-value work from your schedule next week, what would you do with that time? What big, exciting, energizing project would you finally start? That isn't just a daydream, you know? It's a strategic choice you can start making today.